Football Club for this Silk Cup Challenge Cup 5th round between Salford and Featherstone Rovers. Salford team just come out onto the field. Number 1, Gary Tyrer. 2 is Jason Critchley. 3 is Martin Burkitt. 4, Nathan McAvoy. 5, Phil Ford. 6, Steve Blakely. 7 is Andy Gregory. And in the forwards, we've got number 8, Dave Young. 9 is Mark Lee. 10, Cliff Eccles. 11, Bob Marsden. 12, Ian Blease. And 13, Sam Panifer. With 14 being Jonathan Quigley and 15, Craig Randall. The Featherstone Rovers team just come out onto the field. Number 1, Carl Gibson. 2 is Ikram Butts. 3 is Darren Hughes. 4, Brett Rogers. 5 is Frederick Bankay. Number 6 is Brendan Toulter. 7 is Mark Aston. 8, Steve Malloy. 9, Graham Sutherwood. 10, Jason Sims. 11, Danny Devey. 12, Gary H. Price. And 13, Neil Roebuck. With substitute being number 14, Mark Nixon. And 15, Leo Casey. Your referee for today's game is one of the most experienced referees playing the referee in the game today, Mr. David Campbell from St Helens. So forget about the lead this afternoon. It's all down to cup tie football. The winners of today's game are placed in the last 8 in the Challenge Cup for that date in May for a trip to Wembley. All the players really relish that. In this game of rugby league, we saw on the television yesterday that Oldham, who have not played at Wembley in their history in the Challenge Cup, defeated the spirited Warrington side at Wilderspool quite easily. So the upsets are occurring in this season's cup competition. There's talk about Leeds and Wigan final, but anything can happen in cup football, and Featherstone Rovers and Salford here, everything to play for. These two teams met on this same ground early on in the season in the Stonebridge Championship, and it ended in a draw. And on the team sheet, so it's Salford getting the game underway. Steve Blakely there, and that's a mighty kick-off by Steve Blakely. Goes into straight out dead on the full. So it's a penalty kick to Featherstone on the halfway line. That's a bad mistake that by Steve Blakely. I just said the ex-Wigan player Steve Blakely. Salford signed him on a couple of seasons ago, and he's done Salford proud. And you can hear the Featherstone Rovers supported here in the stand to our left. They're really in full voice. It's a marvellous day here at Salford, sun shining, so Steve Malloy takes that first drive in, so it's Sutherwood to Jason Sims. Good driving that by Jason Sims on the second tackle, so it's Sutherwood to Danny Devey. Danny Devey there, he'll run the ball in. Missing through last week's match through a rib injury, Danny Devey, so it's Sutherwood. Sutherwood now there to Brendan Toulter. That's good defence, that. Looks a bit high, but referee says play on, so it's Sutherwood now. Tackle inches short. So Brendan Toulter, Neil Robert, just give that ball through, it's a knock-on. That's a knock-on, it'll be Featherstone's feed at the 10 metres from that Salford try line. Good pressure by Rovers in this first minute of the game. So it'll be Mark Aston to feed the scrum. That little kick through there by Neil Roebuck. Just creating a little bit of panic there in that Salford defence. So it's Brendan Toulter gets that ball from Mark Aston. Brendan Toulter! Brendan Toulter absolutely sizzles through. Steve Blakely tackle there was non-existent, but Brendan Toulter, his strength and his determination. The man's got his attitude right today. He just went through that tackle as if it was a ghost he was striding through, as if it didn't exist, and he planted the ball between the posts. It's exactly what David Ward wanted in this game. Featherstone trying the very first 2 minutes of this match here at the Willows. It's Featherstone Rovers 4, Salford 0, and just listen to them Featherstone Rovers supporters behind the posts. So it's Mark Aston, strikes the ball, strikes it through, straight between the middle of the post. It's Featherstone Rovers 6, Salford 0. Well, this time Steve Blakely makes sure the ball bounces in play, and Gary H. Price takes it on the first bounce, looking for that 20-metre line. So it's Ikram Butts. Ikram Butt there, missing last week through a bad cold in back chest infection, but so it's Jason Sims. Jason Sims looking for that halfway line. So it's Danny Devey looking at that halfway line, fractured it. David Young there involved with the tackle. So it's Neil Roebuck there, that little dummy. But number 12 there, wrapping him up. Ian Blease, so that little kick through. And that kick there, just that little bit too hard. And number 1 there, Gary Tardy, allowing the ball to run dead. So Salford's got the ball for the first time in the match, trailing by 6 points to 0. So number 2 there, Jason Critchley runs the ball in. And Salford there, Mark Lee, the hooker there, looking for his runners onto the ball, but no Salford player wanting that ball that time. So it's Salford about 10 metres inside their own half of the field. Sam Panaper there looking for the halfway line, but good defence by Rovers. Neil Roebuck and Brendan Toter making the tackle, so Mark Lee there to Andy Gregory. Andy Gregory there just pushing that ball through, looking for the far touchline side of the ball, rolling and rolling. Carl Gibson coming across, picks it up, just short of his own try line. Carl Gibson, and that's a good kick and chase by the Salford players. So it's Ikram Butt now from acting half back, and that's good defence, that. So it's Frederick Bankay there, looking for his own 20-metre line, but Featherstone Rovers pinned in the side of their own 20-metre area. So it's Sutherwood there, change of direction there to Brendan Toter, up to his own 20-metre line. That's a good little jinking run by the Rovers stand-off half. So it's Steve Malloy there, beautiful pass there. That's good running that by Steve Malloy, good little pass that to Brett Rogers. So it's Mark Gasson on the last tackle. Mark Gasson there just floating that ball down, and Gary Tarder takes it on the fall on his own 20-metre area. Referee says play on. But that's good defence by Rovers. Jason Sims there following that kick up very quickly indeed, makes the tackle. Once again, Jason Sims makes the tackle. It's still Rovers in the lead by 6 points to 0, and Mark Gasson there makes the tackle, but that's a good run that by Salford. Now the Triumblees there trying to, on them big legs of his, trying to gain ground advantage halfway between the halfway line and the Rovers 20-metre area. Salford in possession of the ball. Blakely there now to Andy Gregory. Andy Gregory again, that ball back inside there to Sam Panaper. Just couldn't get that ball out there. Rovers watching that moment all the time. So it's Steve Blakely, hoist the big one up. The ball's in the air. Oh, and referee says knock on. That was a bit dodgy with that. Ikram Butt there got his back towards the open play, looking at his own try line. And referee Mr Campbell gives the ball to Salford at this scrum down. That big up and under that time by Steve Blakely there, causing a bit of havoc there in that Featherstone Rovers defence. So that scrum down, Andy Gregory to Sam Panaper. Sam Panaper there looking at that Rovers try line. But good defence. A 3-man Rovers tackle that time. Carl Gibson, Neil Roebuck, Brendan Toter all involved with that tackle. So it's Bob Marsden there trying to wriggle his way out of tackles there. He's tackled 2 metres short of that Featherstone Rovers try line. Gary Tyder there just tackled inches short. Salford there using the blind side. Has he scored the try? He's got the ball over the line from the acting half-back position. And slack tackling in the Rovers defence that time. Allowing number 4 there, Nathan McAvoy there to score the try. It's Salford 4, Featherstone Rovers 6. And the Salford try scored it wasn't Nathan McAvoy, it was Mark Lee, the number 9. He scored the try for Salford. So Andy Gregory taking over goal kicking roles here at Salford for this afternoon's match. Here he goes, hoping to put Salford on level terms, and he's well wide of the mark. Salford 4, Featherstone Rovers. So that try coming from that really from that up and under there by Steve Blakely on the Salford last tackle. Featherstone Rovers hesitant going for the ball, and from that the scrum was formed, and Salford could pull the cut player the 6 out. Mark Lee there went over from acting half-back position for an equalising try, but as luck has it for Featherstone Rovers, Andy Gregory missed the conversion attempt, so it's Salford 4, Featherstone Rovers 6. So Salford in possession of the ball now, trying to make headway up to this halfway, and he's lost the ball in the tackle. Penalty kick to Salford. I think with Danny Devey there, just punched the ball out of the Salford player's hands. So Andy Gregory, the ball in his hand, gives the ball there to Mike Ford. Kicking for touch. Mike Ford finds touch on that far side. So David Young runs the ball in on the first tackle. Now you see Bob Marsden run the ball in. That's the second tackle. Andy Gregory with the ball now for Salford. Andy Gregory there just fouling his own teammates that time. Switches direction, gives it to David Young on that far side of the field. So it's Cliff Eccles there, just inside that Featherstone Rovers 20-metre area. Now it's Andy Gregory there. That little kick throw finds touch. So it'll be a scrum. And Salford making a substitution. Looks like Steve Blakely leaves the field, and Chris Randall takes his place in the pack, and so Salford, I should imagine Sam Panapa will be going to stand off half. So Rovers get the ball from the scrum, so it's Danny Devey for Featherstone Rovers. Danny Devey out in his own 20-metre area, but good defence there by Nathan McAvoy. So it's Graham Sutherwood there from acting half-back. So it's Mark Aston now there to Jason Sims, looking for that halfway line. That's good running that by Jason Sims. His tackle 2 metres short. Craig Randall there making the tackle. So it's Sutherwood now there to Steve Malloy there. Neil Roebuck on his shoulder, but he just couldn't unleash the pass. So it's Mark Aston there. Plenty of time there to run at the opposition, but decided to put the kick up. And Gary Tyder there took that ball on the full. So it's Jason Critchley, good defence that by Graham Sutherwood. And Featherstone Rovers caught offside. So penalty kick to Salford. Featherstone was caught offside twice with inside 5 seconds. So Gary Tyler takes over goal kicking duties, and this time he misses the post. Rovers still hanging on to that 6 points to 4 lead. But it just goes to show it how easy that a team can be caught offside in this game. Like I've said before, the referee with a whistle in his hands can make any decision he wants in this game of rugby league. So it's Gary H. Price being tackled here. Number 13, Sam Panapa making the tackle. So it's Jason Sims. And this time the Salford team caught offside at the play of the ball. And just come to understand Mr. Campbell's decision that time. Not standing straight behind the scrum, behind the play of the ball. So it's Steve Malloy takes that first man in, that first drive in. Plays the ball, it's all on. That should be back to one. Ickenbuck gets the ball, comes in field off the wing, pushes one man off. Trying to straighten up, but too many red shirts in the way. And Salford well offside on Mr. Campbell's right-hand side, but he says play on, so it's Danny Devey and Frederick Banquet there. Danny Devey there missing about 3 players out, passing it to his countryman on this side of the field, and Frederick Banquet there just getting a touch to the ball with his hand. The ball going back, but the referee judging that he was facing the field of play, knock on. So it'll be a scrum down, 5 metres inside Salford's half of the field. So Sam Panniper it is in the stand-off half position now, with Steve Blakely going off injured. So it's Jason Critchley gets that ball up there to Martin Burkitt. Martin Burkitt there, 10 metres short of that halfway line. So Bob Marsden there runs it in, just tackle short of the halfway line. So Nathan McAvoy it is, 10 metres inside, Rovers out the field, so it's Andy Gregory's switcher play that time.
Come on, Salford!
Good strong that run that by Cliff Eccles, so it's Andy Gregory once again, hoist that up and under. And that's brilliantly took that by Carl Gibson. He made that ball, looks as if he got a knock in that tackle, but he made that ball that time, so it's Frederick Banquet there. Trying to bring the ball out in his own 20-metre area. Now it's Danny Devey there, big strong run, second row for the Danny Devey there. That's a good strong run, so it's Brendan Toter, that little dummy. So it's Gary Yates looking for that halfway line, but that's brilliant tackling that round the bootlaces. So it's Mark Aston there just puts that ball through, looking for this near touchline side, and there's a cameraman there, Peter Olsen. That's a better kick, and sure it was. It finds touch on this near side. Just inside that Salford 20-metre area. It's still Salford 4, Featherstone Rovers 6. Just about 15 minutes of play gone in this match. So Andy Gregory feeds the scrum. Referee there just pointing to the Featherstone players to keep on side at that scrum, rightly so. No time to move up, so it's Sam Panniper now from the acting half-back position, but that's good defence that by Frederick Banquet there. And Danny Devey round the bootlaces. Now it's Bob Marsden there, but that's good defence by Jason Sims. Both sides settling down now. Both sides trying to throw the ball about. And Craig Randall there, but referee judging that a bit high. Referee right on the spot that time, stopping the clock. And referee there pulling Brendan Toter out for that high tackle. But Craig Randall on his feet. Referee just giving a stern warning there to Brendan Toter. And I should imagine they will have told him that any more of that, Mr. Toter, and he'll be off the field. And Featherstone's making a substitution. Jason Sims going off. And Leo Casey comes on the field. I think that is a blood bin, so he must have a cut. Must Jason Sims. So Gary Tyler there pumps that ball high up into the stand. So it's David Young up to that Rovers 20-metre line. Now you get the Salford draw coming up. Cliff Eccles there, ball back inside off Andy Gregory. But good defence by Rovers that time. Steve Malloy involved in that tackle and Gary H. Price. So it's Sam Panniper there off Andy Gregory's pass. Once again Danny Devey there making the tackle. Round the bootlaces, Steve Malloy it was. Good run that by Bob Marsden. Tackle there just short of that Featherstone Rovers try line. He's trying to riddle his way over the line, but good defence by Rovers. Inches short of that try line. And the referee awards Salford a penalty try. Absolutely unbelievable that the Salford player, I just couldn't see who it was. he got up to play the ball, looking at the man, he should have played the ball. He waited at least 2 or 3 seconds before he played the ball. I've seen referees penalise players in that situation before. He wouldn't play the ball, he stood up, so he kicked the ball forward. The Featherstone Rovers player tackled the man, which he thought he'd got the ball, and the referee there awarding Salford the penalty try. And once again it's Mark Lee from the acting half-back position. So this time Gary Tyler with a conversion there, straight between the middle. That's a setback for Rovers after leading by 6 points to 0. Find themselves 10-6 behind. So Mark Aston it is, what restarts the game. Phil Foote takes the ball first bounce, up to his own 20-metre line. I must say that one or two decisions by the referee has just lent a little bit to the home side in this first 20 metres of the match. So Gary Tyler there finds himself just tackle short of the halfway line, getting out of 2 would-be tackles. So Andy Gregory, he started to run with the ball. Is this little scrum half for Salford? Featherstone Rovers have got to nail him if they want to get something out of this match. Andy Gregory's getting that ball out there to Sam Panapher, to Bob Marsden. Cliff Eccles there, just couldn't release that ball. So it's David Young to Andy. Oh, and that pass there, that's good defence by Rovers. And Salford keeping the ball alive. Phil Foote with the ball, that little kick through, it's all on. Who's going down for the ball? It's Frederick Bankay. That's good play by the Rovers wingman. Gets out of 2 tackles. That was an earlier dumping offence, that by David Young. Referee says play on, so it's Ikram Butt. Ikram Butt sidesteps his way round David Young that time. So the game's really hotting up now, and Leo Casey first touch of the ball. So it's Danny Devey. Danny Devey there, throw the gap. Oh, and that looked a bit high by Craig Randall. Referee says play on. So it's Darren Hughes to Graham Sutherwood, to Mark Aston. Mark Aston tackled just short of that halfway line. Good defence by Salford that time in that build-up. So it's Graham Sutherwood looking for this near touchline side. Kicks the ball through. Jason Critchley there having to backtrack. Picks the ball up just inside his own 20-metre area. Jason Critchley. And Frederick Bankay there gets to grip with his opposite number, pulls him to the floor, and that'll be the first tackle. So Gary Tyler with the ball now. Gary Tyler, the Salford fullback. The old Casey there making the tackle. So Andy Gregory there getting that ball out wide to Martin Burkitt. Stood up in the tackle that time. Good defence by Rovers, plays the ball. So Bob Marsden there, Brendan Toter there making the tackle. So it's Salford looking for that halfway line. That little dummy there, but Steve Malloy that time not taking any dummies. Neil, oh, and that's a bad mistake. Andy Gregory knocking the ball on. And Salford offside at that play of the ball. Salford's offside. Yes. Referee there's judged that Salford offside, rightly so. They were offside when Featherstone Rovers played that ball. So here's a chance for Mark Aston to put 2 more points to his name. It's Salford in the driving seat at this moment of time by 10 points to 6. So here's a chance for Mark Aston to narrow the deficit. So Mark Aston strikes the ball, strikes it through, straight between the middle. It's Salford 10, Featherstone Rovers 8. So Salford willing to restart this game from the halfway line. Just 2 points separates the teams now. So it's Ikrenbut at his own 20-metre area, but Sam Panapa there makes the tackle, and Bob Marsden also involved in the tackle. So it's Danny Devey. Danny Devey there pushes Craig Randolph, gets that ball away there to Sutherwood. Sutherwood now there to Ikrenbut. But good defence that by Mark Lee. Stopping Ikrenbut in his tracks. So it's Steve Malloy working the short side. Gets that one arm pass up, and once again Ikrenbut has to go back. Rovers losing 10 metres with that movement. So it's Neil Roebuck, but that's beautiful tackling that by Lee round the bootlaces. So it's Mark Aston. Mark Aston there just pushing that ball through, and what a lovely bounce that for Gary Tyrer, as if he got that ball on a piece of string that time. First bounce straight into his arms. Well, that's a good kick and chase by Rovers. Gary H. Price there following that ball up quickly, makes the tackle. So Jason Critchley, Danny Devey comes to grips with him. So it's Sam Panapa trying to get that ball out wide. And Cliff Eccles there bursting through tackles there. Was he on his feet when he played that ball? Referee says he was. Andy Gregory with the ball now there, trying to get that ball out wide. Moving it ball back inside to Craig Randall. Craig Randall through the back door, it's all on. Salford still got possession. Lucky that in that movement was Salford. But Bob Marsden nearly pulling his body on the line that time, getting that ball, and David Young there, so comes to a tackle. Good defence that by Mark Aston. So it's Lee with the ball there, just pushing that ball through, and that's a nice little bounce also for Carl Gibson. Carl Gibson there gets himself out of one tackle. But Martin Burkitt. So it's Darren Hughes. Darren Hughes there looking for his own 20-metre line. That's a good running that by Darren Hughes. Playing in the centre today. Matt Kelleher obviously being suspended from last week's Workington match. He's out for 5 weeks. So Darren Hughes takes his place in the number 4 shirt this afternoon's match. So it's Leo Casey. Leo Casey looking for that halfway line. Good defence that by David Young. Cliff Eccles making sure the tackle. So it's Gary H. Price. He'll look for the halfway line. And number 11 there, Bob Marsden there. So it's a good kick that's by Mark Aston. And Frederick Bankay after that ball, and Gary Tyree. And Frederick Bankay there being caught offside from that Mark Aston kick through. And the referee there really getting the burt from the crowds. They thought that Frederick Bankay was offside from that Mark Aston kick. I just couldn't tell myself where I'm here in the stand doing the commentary. It was touch and go, but the referee's in a better position than me on the field. So it's Cliff Eccles with the ball. That's good running that by Cliff Eccles. Plays the ball. Andy Gregory looking for this halfway line, looking for runners, and Sam Panapa there knocks the ball on. But I must say the pass from Andy Gregory were a bit head high. So that's a little for Rovers. So it's Carl Gibson for Rovers. Carl Gibson through the gap. Carl Gibson, he's on a flyer. Oh, it's a pity he just couldn't keep his feet. I'm sure he'd been going under the post. So it's Brendan Toolter, ball back inside there to Danny Devey, to Graham Sutherwood now there to Carl Gibson. Carl Gibson 10 metres short of that try line. So it's Sutherwood to Danny Devey, turning the ball back inside, looking for position. Rightly so. So it's Steve Malloy. Tackle inches short, 5 metres short of the line. So it's Sutherwood there, that little kick through. And that's a terrible. Graham Sutherwood there trying to kick that ball through, and the ball, there was no power behind the kick, and Andy Gregory just picked it up with ease and run it out of the danger area. So Salford get away with that. But Mark Aston, that's good play that by Mark Aston, that's all on. Brilliant play by Mark Aston. Oh, and there's head-high tackles, there's everything going in there on Mark Aston. That was absolutely unbelievable. And the referee, I think he'd already spotted the infringement on Mark Aston. There's 1 or 2 there, fist flying, and number 2, I think it was Ian Blease there, absolutely rush of blood to his head. And I'm sure the referee spotted that infringement. He blew up straight away. And I think Ian Blease will find himself fortunate to stay on this field this afternoon if the referee so Referee saw what I saw.
There you go.
And there we are. It's not Ian Bleeds, it's David Young what serves 10 minutes in the sin bin. But I know that Ian Bleeds was having a go in that melody in the middle of the field on Mark Aston, and it's David Young who gets 10 minutes in the sin bin. So here's a chance here for Featherstone Rovers, for Mark Aston in particular, to put Featherstone Rovers on level terms. It's 10 points to 8 to Salford at this moment in time. Mark Aston here hoping to even things up. Looking at the ball, looking at the posts. Here he goes. Strikes the ball wide of the post. Salford 10, Featherstone Rovers 8. Well, that was an absolutely golden opportunity there for Mark Aston to put Featherstone Rovers on level terms in this Challenge Cup, Silk Cup, Challenge Cup tie here at the Willows, and the ball going wide, failing miserably. So that kick off there from Andy Gregory finds Ikram Butts from 120-metre line to the opponent's 20-metre line. Ikram Butts picks the ball up on the first tackle, so it's Mark Aston getting that ball out wide there to Danny Devey. And that ball there from Danny Devey, an absolutely shocking pass. Just couldn't understand him missing a man out there in that situation. Plenty of room to work on the second tackle, and Rovers losing the initiative. So Andy Gregory feeds the scrum to Sam Panaper. Sam Panaper there to Jason Critchley. And Darren Hughes makes the tackle on the Salford wingman, so it's Sam Panaper there looking for runners. Running in that little bit half-heartedly. So Steve Malloy makes the tackle. So it's Lee with the ball there to Cliff Eccles. Good defence that. Jason Sims back on the field, out of the blood bin. Now it's Andy Gregory looking for runners outside him. But good defence by Rovers on that far side. Brendan Toot it was getting across, making the tackle. So it's Nathan McAvoy. Still only 18 years of age, Jason McAvoy. Good future for him in this game of rugby league. So that little kick through, it's all on. And that's a knock on. Featherstone Rovers trying to block the ball, trying to block that kick through. But referee spotting a knock on. It's Salford's head and ball. We're in the danger area, just 10 metres from that Featherstone Rovers try line. Another set of 6 here for Salford coming up. So Andy Gregory feeds the scrum. Oh, and that was a bad mistake by Andy Gregory. But at least Salford have got possession. So it's Lee there to Sam Panaper, there to Phil Ford. Phil Ford there on that one of them jinking runs. Mark Aston there making the tackle. So it's Bob Marsden. On the third tackle. So good defence that's by Jason Sims, stopping that moment. So it's Cliff Eccles now for Salford. Tackled inches short of that try line. Salford's really putting pressure on this Featherstone Rovers try line now. The men outside here, Jason McAvoy, but that's good tackling by Rovers. That's the last tackle. Brilliant tackle that by Brett Rogers on that far side. That was a try-saving tackle if ever you saw one. That by Brett Rogers. So it's Carl Gibson now for Featherstone Rovers. Inside his own 20-metre area. Wants him in the ball away. Sunderland with the ball now there to Neil Roebuck on that far side. But good defence that by Nathan McAvoy. So it's Jason Sims. This is a good run that by Jason Sims. But that was a big hit. That was a big hit there by Cliff Eccles. So it's Brendan Toter there. Brendan Toter there. Gets that ball out wide there to Steve Malloy. Steve Malloy there looking for the halfway line. That's good running that by Brendan Toter and Steve Malloy. Now it's Sutherwood. This is a good play this by Sutherwood now there to Darren Hughes. but good defence that by Lee there. So it's Mark Aston there, puts the bomb up, Gary Tyne underneath, it's all on. Featherston's going for the ball. Well, referee there judging that Mark Aston kick, which come back to Mark Aston, wasn't touched by a Salford player. That's the changeover. So Nathan McAvoy there trying to bring defence onto attack, and Rovers offside there at that moment, but the referee says play on. They've got away with that one, but they were clearly offside there. That played the ball. The referee says play on, so it's Jason Critchley. Sutherwood there making the tackle, and Mark Aston involved in the tackle. So Craig Randall there is over the halfway line, and Gary H. Price, Jason Sims there making the tackle. So it's Andy Gregory there to Lees there. That little kick throw there by Lees, rolling and rolling and rolling. Finds touch just in this near corner here. So it'll be a 10-metre scrum. Good little kick there by Mark Lee, the Salford hooker. 2 tries to his name already in this game. So it'll be Mark Aston to feed the scrum. And it's still Salford 10, Featherstone Rovers 8. The game's on a knife edge here at the Willows. The game can go either way. That's what the pundits were saying before the first ball was kicked in this game, and that's how it's going to be looking all afternoon. 2 points separating the two teams at this moment in time. So it's Darren Hughes. So Featherstone Rovers, quick play the ball, Sutherwood with the ball there, a bit of run to it there from Acton half-back. That's good play that by Sutherwood, gets that ball there to Gary H. Plays the ball, and Salford's offside of that play, the ball. No market. And Salford player there, Phil Fort, talking back to the referee. I will say for this, referees are consistent on that in this game. They will not stand any talking back. And here's another chance for Mark Aston to put Featherstone Rovers on equal terms. It's still Salford 10, Featherstone Rovers 8. But good little run that by Graham Sutherwood from Acton half-back. Over the halfway line, found Gary H. Price in backing him up on his right-hand shoulder. And Gary H. Price tackled, got up, played the ball quickly to himself. The Salford player was in an offside position, tackled him. And from that, Phil Fort said a few words to the referee, another 10 metres. And from that position, Mark Aston, hoping to put 2 points on the board for Rovers. And you can hear by the Rovers supporter behind the post, Featherstone Rovers are back on level terms. A magnificent penalty kick that by Mark Aston. It's third of the afternoon, it's Featherstone Rovers on level terms, Salford 10, Featherstone Rovers 10. So once again, Salford restarting the game, and after 37 minutes with 3 minutes to go to half-time. A score for either side, just this side of half-time, would surely be a bonus for the Salford or Featherstone Rovers coaches. So it's Jason Sims looking for that halfway line. Ian Blease making the tackle. So it's Mark Aston to Brendan Toter there to Brett Rogers, and Brett Rogers loses the ball in the tackle, and it's Nathan McAvoy for Salford. Shocking mistake by Rovers there, losing the ball in that position. Puts Salford 38 minutes play gone in this match, plus injury time to come before half-time. So Martin Burkett there, tackled by Jason Sims, just short of that Rovers 20-metre line. So it's Bob Marsden. Darren Hughes there stands his ground, makes the tackle. Frederick Bankhead also helping out in the tackle. So it's Martin Burkett. Andy Gregory with the ball now. Andy Gregory there looking for runners inside him. Gives the ball there to Cliff Eccles with the ball from that inside pass. Cliff Eccles there, hoping to stretch this Rovers defence. Jason Sims making the tackle. Now Mark Lees, that little kick through, it's all on, and Carl Gibson there, beautifully took by the Rovers fullback. Gets up, still running Carl Gibson. And Carl Gibson finally gets to grips, Cliff Eccles I should say. So Darren Hughes it is. That's a good run that by Darren Hughes, up to his own 20-metre line. The crowd really appreciating that run that by Darren Hughes. So it's Ikram Butt off his opposite wing. On the third tackle, that's 39 minutes gone at the clock in this first half here at the Willow. So it's Brendan Toter. He'll settle things down, will Brendan Toter. And Bob Marsden makes the tackle, so it's Danny Devey. Danny Devey, look for that halfway line. His tackle about 5 metres short. Oh. And Danny Devey there wanted to get up to play the ball, and number 12 there, Ian Blease, seemed to be walking all over his arm, but the referee says get up and play the ball. And Danny Devey back on his feet on the last tackle. So Mark Aston kicks the ball to this near touchline side, and it's a marvellous kick that by Mark Aston. Finds the corner, making Gary Tyler turn round, pick it up. He's got to run at this defence, and that's good tackling that by Frederick Bankay and by Darren Hughes, stopping Gary Tyler in his tracks. So it's Jason Critchley now off his wing on the second tackle, up to his own 20-metre line. But Steve Malloy there gets up, cleans him up. And Sam Paniper now from acting half-back. Sam Paniper, but Darren Hughes, and once again Frederick Bankay there makes the tackle on the Salford loose forward. Playing in the stand-off half position with Steve Blakely going off injured. So it's David Young. And Brendan Toter there wrestles him to the ground, helped out there by Steve Malloy. Danny Devey also involved in the tackle. So it's Mark Lees to Andy Gregory. Andy Gregory there, look for runners outside him, gets that ball up, beautiful ball. Nathan McAvoy there gets that ball inside, it's all on. Ian Blease back inside there to Phil Ford, and Phil Ford, he steps his way out to two tackles, still going, but he's still camped in his own half of the field. Referee saying that's the last tackle. So it's Andy Gregory. Andy Gregory there pushes that ball through over Ikram Butt's head. And Mark Aston it is, he picks the ball up, passes it to Carl Gibson, and Carl Gibson there runs at the Salford defence, moving up quickly. The 40 minutes is up, we're playing injury time now in this first half. So it's Featherstone Rovers, Ikram Butt, he's over his own 20-metre line. Oh, and that looked a bit high, that by Bob Marsden, but referee says play on. James Sutherland with the ball now there to Danny Devey on the short side, he's striding out. That's a good run that by Danny Devey. So it's Darren Hughes to Graham Sutherwood, to Mark Aston. Mark Aston there, looking for runners inside him, but that's good defence that by Bob Eccles. So it's Sutherwood now. Sutherwood, that little dummy, Sutherwood through the gap, Sutherwood still going, gets that ball there, but Jason Critchley intercepts the ball. That pass in no man's land there, just dithering in the air. And it's Andy Gregory, throws that wide ball out there. Ian Blease, and there goes the half-time outer here at the Willows. After a good start by Rovers, Brendan Toter try, Mark Aston conversion, Salford come back with 2 tries there by Mark Lees. And then a penalty goal there to Salford. 10-8 it was, then Mark Aston did 4 minutes before half-time. Penalty goal to him, half-time score, Salford 10, Featherstone Rovers 10. Challenge Cup match in the 5th round between Salford and Featherstone Rovers. The half-time being Salford 10, Featherstone Rovers 10. So even Stevens, 40 minutes to go to the final whistle. A reward for either one of these teams a place in the last 8 of this Silk Cup Challenge Cup for the 1994-95 season. And I've said previously that there's places for grabs for the Wembley dates. A lot of the fancied teams out already. St Helens, Castleford, Warrington, they've all been beaten. So Featherstone Rovers get the game started. Mark Aston and Salford get possession of the ball in the first minute of this second half. So it's Craig Randall. He'll look for the halfway line. Is it Craig Randall? No, it isn't. It's Jason Critchley. Gets up, plays the ball. So it's David Young. Already on the third tackle, and Salford making no headway towards the halfway line. Here we go, Ian Blease gets that ball inside there to Bob Marsden. Bob Marsden there to Lees. Lees there to Andy Gregory. Looked like a forward pass, but Cliff Eccles there takes that ball. That's good play that by Salford, just inside that Rovers half of the field. So it's Andy Gregory, he's running with the ball in the second half early on. Gets that ball out wide, that looks like another forward pass, but referee said play on. Brilliant play that by Salford. So it's Mark Lees getting that ball inside now. Andy Gregory there, all the time in the world, puts the up and under up. Carl Gibson underneath it, takes it cleanly, another Rovers number one. That's brilliant play that by Carl Gibson. Good set of 6 for Salford. Rugby league at its best. So it's Darren Hughes from acting half back, looking for his own 20-metre line. Good penetrating run by the Rovers centre that time, Darren Hughes. So it's Gary H. Price over his own 20-metre line, and Ian Blease makes the tackle on the big Rovers second row forward. Now it's Brendan Toter. Brendan Toter leading by example, already a try to his name. Struggling to get to his feet, so it's Sutherwood now there to Danny Devey. And this is a good set of 6 for Featherstone Rovers. Good tackle that by David Young. So it's Mark Aston. And both sides in the start of the second half have played the first 6 tackles out each. And Gary Tyner now it is inside his own 20-metre area, running across field, looking for them gaps. Gary Tyner there, but Neil Roebuck there succumbs to it. A good hard tackle there by Darren Hughes and Neil Roebuck. And Neil Roebuck there, second marker, making the tackle, and Sam Paniper there, taking the ball and from a standing start. Good defence that by Jason Sims. Now you see David Young pushes one would-be tackler off Mark Aston it was. Good penetrating run by the Salford number 8 that time. And David Young with the ball again, gives it to Nathan McAvoy. Just about on the halfway line, cuts in field, but Graham Sutherwood there gets to grips with him. And Gary H. Price, so it's Mark Lees there, and Bob Marsden there knocking the ball on. That'll be a scrum down. That's the first mistake from either side in this second half of this match here at the Willows. Salford knocking the ball on Bob Marsden it was. So it'll be Mark Aston to feed the scrum, just on that 10-metre line inside Featherstone Rovers half of the field. And Rovers get the ball from the pack, gives it there to Carl Gibson. Carl Gibson there. Brilliant run by the Rovers fullback. What a good club man Carl Gibson is for Featherstone Rovers. So it's Mark Aston there, dummying everybody. Looking to his left, looking to his right, runs round in circles. Brett Rogers comes back shaking his head as if he wanted the ball, but Mark Aston knows best that he died with the ball, rightly so I think in that situation, just couldn't give the ball in that situation. So it's Rovers up to that Salford 20-metre line. So it's Sutherwood to Jason Sims, gets the ball to Sutherwood that overhead pass there to Mark Aston to Brendan Toter, ball back inside there to Gary H. Price, jinking inside. Gets that ball there now to Neil Roebuck, to Brendan Toter, takes that ball on the full. Gets that ball at out of the back way there to Gary H. Price, bumps one man off, up to that Salford 20-metre line. Good defence that by Andy Gregory. Now it's Graham Sutherwood. Now there to Neil Roebuck. Neil Roebuck there to Danny Devey. And Danny Devey there, tackle 15 metres. Are we in for the drop goal here? All these points of pressure. So it's Sutherwood with the ball. Sutherwood there looking for runners outside him. Gets that ball there to Brendan Toter. Brendan Toter there to Mark Aston. And that was absolutely brilliant play by the Rovers stand-off half. Brendan Toter. He just juggled with the ball. He sucks 3 Salford players into him before he parted with the ball. And who was there? Mark Aston says, thank you very much, Toots. I'll accept them passes all day. And he dived over unopposed. 5 metres in from the near touchline side. But who cares how far it is in from the touchline side, because Featherstone Rovers going for the second try of the match. Mark Aston it is, and Brendan Toter, rightly so. I forgot to mention that man there, Graham Sutherwood. He had an hand in that try. He dummied his way through the Salford defence. He threw a beautiful pass over the Salford player's head there to give Brendan Toter that running chance to the line. And Brendan Toter says to Graham Sutherwood, thanks very much, Graham. I appreciate that pass, and so did Mark Aston from Brendan Toter. It's Featherstone Rovers back in the driving seat. Salford 10, Featherstone Rovers 14, with Mark Aston hoping to add the conversion attempt to his own try. Here he goes, the ball's up. It stands up on that pedestal there. We're just behind him with the camera. He's trying to get a bit aside onto the ball, but it just misses the post. It's Salford 10, Featherstone Rovers 14. So Andy Gregory gets the game started, and Mark Casson there, the Rovers' last try scored, gives the ball there to Danny Devey, over his own 20-metre line. So it's Frederick Mankey there, looking for the gaps, but none occurred in that time. Bob Marsden quickly covering him up there. So it's Steve Malloy, he's looking for the halfway line, gut penetrating run that by Steve Malloy. But Cliff Eccles there making that. Now it's Gary H. That's a good run that by Gary H. Price. He's over the halfway line. So it's Graham Sutherwood. He started to buzz. He had a good first half. He's taking the defence on from acting half-back. So it's Neil Roebuck to Mark Aston. And Mark Aston drop goal attempt, and rightly so. And it sails through the middle. Just like the nimble advert with that balloon. It just went higher and higher and higher. She flies through the air. Another point to Featherstone Rovers. It's Salford 10, Featherstone Rovers 15. And that's what Featherstone Rovers have got to do. They're working the 6 tackles down this Salford's half of the field. They've got to pick points up when they can. And here we go again. Danny Devey takes that ball there off Mark Aston. Runs it in up to his own 20-metre line. Dare I say it, dare I not, Featherstone Rovers not making a mistake as yet in this second half. Salford's just made one, and Featherstone Rovers have punished them for it. That Bob Marsden knock on. Now it's number 10, Jason Sims. Good tackling that by Mark Lees though. So it's Brendan Toter on that far side. Brendan Toter, he'll look for the halfway. Ooh, and good defence that by Martin Burkett on Brendan Toter. Now it's Mark Aston once again. Rovers play the 6 tackles out, and Mark Aston there pushes that ball through. Gary Tyler there comes back from the ball. I'm sure he's got that ball on a piece of string, Gary Tyler, because every time he goes to the ball just stands up for him, picks it up, runs it out. Now it's Andy Gregory. He's looking for runners. And Steve Malloy there noticed that Andy Gregory was struggling, went in, made the killer tackle. So it's Sam Panaper taking this defence on. He's so dangerous, Sam Panaper. We've seen him in many a match for Wigan. And I'm sure he can do it for Salford this afternoon. So Bob Marsden there, but that's beautiful tackling that by Sutherwood. Now it's Salford, Cliffy Eccles. Cliffy Eccles now gets that ball away now to Ian Blease. Ian Blease there, but that's a brilliant tackle, that Danny Devey for a cover tackle that. That's brilliant tackling that by Danny Devey. Now it's Mark Lees. Mark Lees now there to Bob Marsden, to Craig Randall. Craig Randall there. Nobody wanted the ball, but Frederick Bankay's got the ball for Rovers. And Frederick Bankay's on a flyer. He's taking Sam Panaper on. He's got to come inside. Brilliant play, because I must say that when Craig Randall kicked that ball on that far side, Frederick Bankay got the sun in his eyes, but didn't he take it well? Now it's Carl Gibson. He's got to run it in, because Phil Ford has stopped his path there from getting the ball out wide. And Rovers are on the second tackle, 5 points to the good. They're buzzing. Mark Aston to Gary H. Gary H there, he'll look for that Salford 20-metre line. And Mark Lees there makes a fantastic tackle on the big second row forward. Now it's Brendan Toter from acting halfback. Brendan Toter there, he's looking for players. Gives it to Gary H. Price, to Jason Sims. He'll run one way, he only knows which way to run to Jay. Gives it to Neil Roebuck, and nobody on his inside that time. So it's Sutherwood now there to Mark Aston, Danny Devey and Martin Burkett. Try saving tackle if ever you saw one. So it's Sutherwood, it's all on, and Carl Gibson scores the try, has he? Carl Gibson missed the ball, runs through there. Well, that tackle, that little kick through there by Graham Sutherwood there, went through the Salford's player's hands, and Carl Gibson, I thought, in my position here, I thought he grabbed the ball, I thought it scored, but he must have missed the ball, and Salford there caught Featherstone Rovers offside, and from the penalty kick, they're running the ball out. But I must say that a try for Featherstone Rovers then at that moment in time would have really put this game towards Featherstone Rovers. As it is, they're still 5 points in front, and that kick downfield, and Frederick Bankay has to backtrack there from that kick through. And Frederick Bankay takes the tackle just about on his own 20-metre line. So it's Mark Gasson to Carl Gibson. What a game Carl Gibson's having. Carl Gibson, he sights through this defence. Just like a knife going through butter. Carl Gibson that time. Sidestep through one would-be tackler. So it's Brendan Toter wanting the ball every opportunity to overstand off half, and why not? And he gets that ball to Ickham Butt, and Ickham Butt, he's got it outside him, gives that ball there to number 3, Brent Rogers. Brent Rogers there, and Phil Ford, another try-saving tackle. So it's Roebuck to Danny Deavey, Danny Deavey! Tackle inches short. So it's Rovers, Sony yet so far on that far side. It's Ickham Butt, I think he was. Oh. And that kick there by Mark Aston, I think Linford Christie wouldn't have got to that ball, it was that quick. I'm just noticing on this wing, Carl Gibson wanted Mark Aston to kick the ball across the line because Salford had no players on this side, and I'm sure that if Mark Aston could have seen Carl Gibson wanting the ball along the line, I'm sure he would have kicked it that way. But as it is, Salford get out of the cooker house. They've got the ball in their hands, and they're trying to reach the halfway line, and that's good defence. And I thought Salford player had lost the ball in that moment of time, but referee says play on. So it's Bob Marsden turning the ball back inside, gives the ball there to Martin Burkitt, to Jason Critchley. But this is good. Featherstone Rovers tackling, it's still Rovers in the lead by 15 points to 10. So it's Andy Gregory. Andy Gregory now there to Craig. Oh, and Gary Tyrer. Gary Tyrer through the gap. Gets that ball back inside there to Craig Randall, to Andy Gregory. Andy Gregory here. Back inside there to Nathan McAvoy. To Mark Lees, and Mark Lees loses the ball. That's all on. Referee playing advantage. Brett Rogers there diving on that loose ball, so it's Ickham Butt, gives it to Carl Gibson. And Carl Gibson, as a good old pro that he is, he'll steady the ship. He knows what this game of rugby league's all about. He's been about for a long time as Carl Gibson. Looked like a little knock on, but referee says play on. So it's Frederick Bankay. And Darren Hughes there, to me, lucky to get away with that. I thought just that little knock on, but I must say that the sun's shining over that side there, and both the touch judge and the referee unsighted. So it's Jason Sims. Jason Sims, he'll find the halfway line before being tackled there by Nathan McAvoy, and Mark Aston there, rightly so, just placing that kick over the top of the Salford's heads. Finds touch on this near side, that's all it wanted, and he just placed it over. And Mark Aston starting to buzz in this second half. It's Featherstone Rovers still in the lead by Salford 10, Featherstone Rovers 15. 13 minutes gone in the second half. So Andy Gregory feeds the scrum. Penalty kick to Salford. Neil Robert being penalised, coming out of the scrum too early. So Andy Gregory puts the ball into touch just outside him here in the stand. So here we are, Cliff Eccles, first driving, beautiful tackle that by James Southern, round the bootlaces. Now it's David Young. Good drive that by David Young to Mark Lees, to Bob Marsden. That's good double league by Salford, still on the second tackle, 4 to go in this sequence of 6. Now it's Sam Panaper to Nathan McAvoy. Nathan McAvoy there trying to get round Brendan Toter, but Brendan Toter there makes the tackle. Brings him down, so it's Sam Panaper home. That was a shocking pass, that. Salford, that's on 4 tackles. So it's Andy Gregory. Plenty of room to work. He can bring playing onto him, can Andy Gregory. Gives the ball there to Jason Critchley, and that's a brilliant tackle once again. Brilliant tackle, that, by Carl Gibson. And number 2 there, Ickham Butt. Got back there to make that interception, but Phil Ford there arguing with the referee. Penalty kick to Featherstone Rovers, but that was absolutely brilliant play. Andy Gregory there putting Jason Critchley through the gap, and Carl Gibson there, he looked to try score all the way, did Jason Critchley, but Mr. Gibson there and the number 1 shirt Featherstone Rovers thought otherwise. He said, come here Jason, I've got you tied up. And Jason Critchley flicked the ball back inside, but always there for Featherstone Rovers. Iker and Butt to make the interception. And them two players there, Iker and Butt and Carl Gibson, saved a certain try. And from that, Phil Ford, a few words to the referee, and from that, Featherstone Rovers got a penalty. Gary H. Price being tackled on the halfway line, and it's Brendan Toulter. Gets rid of the ball in the tackle to Sutherwood. Sutherwood now there to Mark Aston. Oh! And David Young there nearly took Mark Aston's head off him. He just got James Sutherwood. It's all on. He's got the ball back. It's all on. Jason Sims. That's back to 1. So Mark Aston drop goal attempt. He sails through the middle like the nimble loaf again. She flies through the air with the greatest of ease. Am I right, Peter? He says I'm right. It's Featherstone Rovers trying to go to the good. Salford 10, Featherstone Rovers 16. But I must say that little kick over there by Graham Sutherwood touched a Salford player on the way. They charged it down, but the referee says he didn't wave the tackles on. But Mark Aston says, never mind, lads, get on with play. Give me the ball. And he stroked it through the post, and he's there again, Mark Aston, taking that kick off. And I must say, I'm going to say it again, he's facing this sun, and it's just beaming down in them Featherstone Rovers players in that far corner. Took it well. Give the ball there to Frederick Bankay. Now it's Danny Devey. Runs it in, Danny Devey there. But number 12 there, Ian Blease, making the tackle. So it's Sutherwood to Big Steve Malloy. Tackle 10 metres short of that halfway line. Sam Paniper making the tackle, so it's Sutherwood. He's buzzing from acting up at Neil Roebuck to Brett Rogers. Brett Rogers up to the halfway line. Quick play of the ball. Mark Sutherwood there to Jason Sims. Jason Sims there. That's good running that by Jason Sims. Every one of these Featherstone Rovers players hungry for the ball in this second half. Now it's Brendan Toulter. Beautiful pass there. Well, Brendan Toulter there, pull back, but to me, we're floating the ball across the line that time, and Frederick Bankay, they took the pass. And referee, they're saying, come back, I'm not standing that. Awarded the forward pass. So 18 minutes gone in the second half. Rovers definitely in the driving seat, 6 points to the good. So it's Mark Lees to Andy Gregory, to Sam Paniper, to Ian Blease. Ian Blease now there to Jason Critchley. So it's Nathan McAvoy now to Sam Paniper. Sam Paniper there, back inside there to Ian Blease. Ian Blease there running inside, gives that ball there. But that's good defence, that. And it's Gary Tyrer. Gary Tyrer there taking Carl Gibson on, and once again Carl Gibson to the task. And that's better play by Salford, really stretching this Rovers defence. Now it's Andy Gregory, they've got players outside here, and that's a bad mistake. And who picks it up? Frederick Bankay for Rovers. Shocking ball that by Salford. So it's Darren Hughes on the blind side. Darren Hughes there. Martin Burkitt made the tackle. So it's Mark Casson for Rovers. Mark Casson there. He'll take the tackle. Rovers just a bit unorganised in that sequence, in that tackle. That's on the third tackle. Now it's Gary H. Looking for the halfway line. Oh, Sony gets so far. Bob Marsden there just tackled him by the ankles. Penalty kick to Rovers. Gary H there wanting to get up to play the ball. And the Salford player not allowing him to. Referee quite rightly penalising the Salford player that time. I just couldn't see who it was, so it's a penalty kick to Mark Casson just about on the halfway line. And Mark Casson doesn't miss them opportunities to get the ball into touch. We're 10 metres from that Salford 20-metre line. Frederick Bankay will run it in. He's tackled just short of that 20-metre Salford line. So it's Gary H there to Danny Devey. Danny Devey there gets that ball to Gary H. Gary H there. Gary H there. He's done it his way. Is he over? He's tackled inches short. Brilliant defence by Salford. So it's Mark Aston. So it's Jason Sims. And that's a knock on. Sutherwood there to Mark Aston. Rovers trying to rush it. Just played that too much, little bit panic football. Think on, they're not trying to play catch-up football. It's Salford what's trying to play catch-up football. And in that situation, I thought Rovers might have just played another tackle out, then put the moves on. But as it happened, I'm not there on the field. I'm up here in the gantry. I can see what's going off. I'm a bit higher up than the players out on the field, but Salford possession. Salford 10, Featherstone Rovers 16. 20 minutes left of this Silk Cup 5th round in this game at the Willows. It's on a knife edge. Sam Panaper inside to Ian Blease, and Brendan Toter gets, and he makes the ball go. And Neil Rovers, he will obstruct it there. That's a penalty kick to Rovers. Neil Roebuck there wanting that ball. He was more hungry for the ball, was Neil Roebuck. That goes to show the commitment from this Featherstone Rovers team this afternoon. Neil Roebuck there, he was the second favourite to get to that ball. He made himself the firm favourite, but the Salford player there just obstructing him. Penalty kick to Rovers, and here's an absolutely golden opportunity here for Mark Aston to put this Featherstone Rovers 8 points to the good in this game here. 19 minutes left for play at the Willows. Who can forget that last time that Featherstone Rovers went to Wembley in '83, dare I say it, in this same round, Featherstone Rovers came here. In them days it was the second round of the cup, but with the amateurs coming into the competition now, it is the 5th round now, but it was the same round, the same stage. And Mark Gasson there, has he got his kicking boots on, and the ball just at wide of the post. Just shaved the post that time. As I was just saying though, that Featherstone Rovers defeated Salford in 1983, and who can ever forget they went on to lift the Challenge Cup at Wembley. Could this be an omen? So it's Sandy Gregory. Big up Nundy. That's a good kick, that by Andy Gregory. No man's land. Who's going for the ball? Carl Gibson says, I'll pick the ball up. He seems to take his time that time. Well, everybody seemed to be waiting for the ball, and Carl Gibson finally made the ball is, and Brendan Tote on the second tackle. So it's Danny Devey on that short side. He's looking for the halfway, gets the ball inside there to Graham Sutherwood. Graham Sutherwood takes the tackle. Just about on that halfway line, so it's Aston to Steve Malloy, runs it in. That's on the 4th tackle. 2 to go in this sequence of 6, so it's Jason Sims. Jason Sims there becomes to a 2-man Salford tackle. So it's Sutherwood, gets that ball now there to Mark Aston. Mark Aston, 3 goals to his name, a try to his name, and 2 drop goals to his name, and Gary Tees drops the ball. That's the knock-on, that's the mistake, what Featherstone Rovers needed. It's a scrum downward on that Salford 20-metre line, and it'll be Mark Casson to feed the scrum, and Brendan Toter there just having a few words with Carl Gibson. What's he got up his sleeve this time? And just telling Darren Hughes, follow me, lad. You won't go for so far wrong, so Mark Casson feeds the scrum, and it's Brendan Toter got the ball. He's taking the defence on. He scored a try in the first minute of that with that moment in Brendan Toter, but not this time. So switch of play to Mark Aston, to Danny Devey. Danny Devey! Danny Devey scores the try in the corner! The Frenchman there took a 3-man Salford tackle, and he absolutely floored him out of the way. He absolutely squashed all over him, just like Mr. Blobby going in at the corner. Featherstone Rovers 20, Salford 10. On this long side, Mark Gasson got the ball from the scrum. Brendan Toter took the defence on. Quick play of the ball. Quick change of direction. Danny Devey in the centre there, and he looked to be well tackled. A 3-man Salford tackle there. But Danny Devey, as I just said, just like Mr. Blobby, he just absolutely squashed and walked all over him, and he just planted that ball in the corner. So Mark Aston, conversion attempt, he's got his kicking balls on there. Mark Aston, absolutely superb kick by Mark Aston. It's Salford 10, Featherstone Rovers 22. Well, surely Featherstone Rovers, with 15 minutes to go this match here at the Willows, they're not going to surrender this game now. They've been absolutely brilliant in this second half. And Mark Gasson gets that ball, gives it to Danny Devey. And Danny Devey says, no, Mark, I've just scored a try. Mark Gasson says, come on, Danny, you can do it again. And he takes that ball to his own 20-metre line. Now it's Carl Gibson for me. Carl Gibson for me. He's my man of the match. He's had an absolutely brilliant play for Featherstone Rovers. Gets up just short of the halfway line. Sutherwood with the ball there to Jason Sims. And Jason Sims, when I'm saying Carl Gibson's by man of the match, every player what touches this ball, I seem to think, well, they played well, he's played well, they played well, and this man and all, Gary H, he's going towards that Salford 20-metre line. He's tackled 10 metres short, and Featherstone Rovers are really buzzing. And just look at man here, Jason Sims once again. That's twice he's had the ball in this sequence of 6, and how's this for the drop goal attempt? And the referee stopping the clock. I think Jason Sims got a bang on the leg there. Referee wanted Neil Robert to play that ball for Jason Sims, and Neil Robert won't have any of it. He's just said to the referee, it looks like a bad injury, and his ball for Jason Sims is okay. Just looking at the dugout, Leo Casey. So Jason's back on his feet. Neil Robert playing the ball. So are we going to have a drop goal attempt? The ball back there to Mark Aston. Oh, and Salford were wary to that. And Mark Aston decides to change his tactics. Kick the ball up in there. It's all on. Oh, and Gary T's there. Takes that ball off Jason Critchley. Jason Critchley seemed to pad the ball down to Gary T's there. But Salford don't mind that at least they've got possession. That looked like a forward pass, but referee says play on. And good defence, that's 3 Featherstone players in defence. Jason Sims, Graham Sutherwood and Neil Roebuck. And once again, good defence that, and Neil Roebuck once again round the man. So Salford looking for that halfway line. We haven't seen Salford much into that side, that Roebuck 20-metre line in the second half. So it's Andy Gregory there, and Salford offside. Number 3, Nathan McAvoy there, offside there from that kick throw, but Carl Gibson takes the ball, is inside his own 20-metre area, is running it out. But this time he comes to a tackle there by Martin Burkitt. Now it's Frederick Bankay. And this time Frederick Bankay there. And Ian Blaze there jumping in, second man. But referee says play on. Rovers on the third tackle, 10 metres inside their own half of the field. Now it's Ikram Butt. Ikram Butt there. Gets out of Nathan McAvoy's tackle, still going, but Nathan McAvoy has second bite of the cherry. Makes the tackle round the bootlacer, so it's Sutherwood to Mark Aston. Mark Aston now there to Danny Deave. He'll look for the halfway line, but he gets that ball away there to Jason Sims. Jason Sims now to Gary H. Price. He's striding, he's Gary H. He's trying to get out of tackle, gets that ball up to Ikram Butt, to Sutherwood, to Mark Aston. Oh, it's absolutely sizzling play, and it's all on. And referee saying that Featherstone Rovers were tackled, penalty kick to Salford, but I'm telling you now, that ball there, it was Brett Rogers, not Mark Aston. That ball there was going across that field like a nut chestnut. So it's Salford now in possession of the ball. Declining to take the kick to touch. Why, I don't know. Decided to tap the ball from that penalty kick. So Salford still catching the ball. There's nobody running forward. Featherstone Rovers have got him demoralised here at the Willows on the end. That's a Featherstone Rovers, and that's all on. The referee in the way. Referee's got to give the knock on. He's got to give Featherstone Rovers the head and feet because he got in the way of the pass. It'll be Mark Aston to feed the scrum. So Mark Aston it is, what's feeding the scrum. The ball's in. And Neil Roebuck takes that. Oh, Neil Roebuck, I bet he thought he wanted to try a scorer. Nearly through the pass there, nearly through the gap, I should say. So it's Mark. Oh, and that's a knock on. Penalty kick to Rovers. Here's a chance for Mark Aston. Another goal attempt to him. And Steve Malloy, rightly so, calls on the kicker. Calls on Benny there with the appliance what Mark Aston stands the ball on. Penalty kick to Featherstone, and I'm just looking down at this Salford team. They look a very demoralised side. 10 minutes left for playing this match. It's Salford 10, Featherstone Rovers 22. And here's a chance here for Mark Aston to really put this game beyond Salford. 2 tries, 2 goals to the good. This goal here will make it 2 tries, 3 goals to the good. And the way Featherstone Rovers have played in this second half here at the Willows, who can see Salford coming back in this last 10 minutes. So Mark Aston, goal attempt is straight through the middle. He doesn't miss them on a day like today. It's Featherstone Rovers in the lead by 24 points to 10. Well, Mark Aston, if anybody's looking for the man of the match, he's 5 goals to his name, he's a try to his name, and he's also 2 drop goals to his name. And Frederick Banquet there takes that high bouncing ball on that far side once again, facing this notorious Son here at the Willows in that corner. Takes it well. So it's Danny Devey, second man in, drives it in, trying to reach his own 20-metre line. This time he's tackled just short. Bob Marser making the tackle now. Leo Casey on the field. Leo Casey there. Through one would-be tackler. I think Jason Sims it is what's left the field. Now it's Sutherwood and Carl Gibson getting in on the action. What a game he's at from full-back. Well, he's like a worm, Carl Gibson. They just can't seem to get grips of the Rovers number 1. So Leo Casey. Second time for the... Oh, beautiful pass there to Neil Roebuck, and Neil Roebuck there gets that ball up there. It's all on. And Sutherwood there backing up. Sutherwood now there to Brett Rogers. And Brett Rogers, he's tackled 10 metres short. Mark Nixon it was, he's on the field. I just can't see who's gone off. So Brendan Toulter turning around the tackle. Gives that ball there, it's all on, and Salford get possession. Mark Cassidy didn't know whether he got the ball or he hadn't, because Brendan Toulter there done it twice. Finally gave him the ball, but the ball ricocheted off him straight into the arms of a Salford player. So from that, Salford get the ball. 8 minutes left for play at this match here. Featherstone Rovers in the driving seat. Salford 10, Featherstone Rovers 24. So it's Sam Panaper. Sam Panaper there trying to dummy his way through that defence, but Danny Devey it is. He sucks him in, makes the tackle. Penalty kick to Salford. Danny Devey alleged there a laying on at the tackle, and Salford quick to get on with the game, and there should be an all, because they're trailing by 14 points here on the home territory. But that's good defence that by Leo Casey on the first tackle. Now it's David Young and Mark Nixon there flying across. Leo Casey was flying across, trying to get grips with him. So we're on the second tackle. Andy Gregory to Sam Panaper, back to Andy Gregory, that run around there to Jason Critchley. Jason Critchley trying to get round Brendan Toulter, and Brendan Toulter there pulls him down like a rag doll. So it's Panaper, nobody running forward the ball, only this man here. Bob Eccles, Bob Mars, I should say, gives the ball there to Martin Burkitt. Martin Burkitt there to Eccles, back there to Gary Tyler. Gary Tyler going for that turn, that's brilliant play, that's. Mark Nixon there absolutely flung his body there at Gary Tyler there and pushed him into touch on that far side. I bet Gary Tyler thought all his birthdays had come at once. I bet he thought it scored the try. And the Silk Cup Man of the Match award goes, and I've just mentioned him early on, to the Featherstone Rovers player who scored nearly all their points, Mark Aston. 5 goals to his name, 2 drop goals, and a try to rub salt into Salford's wounds, and he also ended up with the Silk Cut Man of the Match. But I will ask Mark Aston after the game what he thinks of his other colleagues out there, his other 14 colleagues, because I'm sure he'll say they all deserve one, John. I'm sure that Mark will tell me that. But still, back to the play. It's Salford 10, Rovers 24. And Graham Sutherwood standing with the ball in his hand there. He's toying with his Salford defence now, and Brett Rogers it is. He's gone onto the wing, plays the ball back, so it's Sutherwood to Mark Aston. Mark Aston there, he says thank you very much, I'll kick that ball downfield, and Gary Tyler comes across, picks the ball up just about on his own 20-minute line. Here Cody's there, Gary H. Price and Steve Malloy saying to the Rovers players, chase, and chase they did. And Neil Roebuck and Gary H. there gets to grip with Gary Tyler, so it's Andy Gregory to Mark Lees. Mark Lees now there to Jason Critchley. Jason Critchley, so easy can be a match winner for Salford. Co-tries from all over the field. Ex-Widnes player, of course, Jason Critchley. Ex-England schoolboy star. Just about on the halfway line. So it's Andy Gregory to Sam Panaper, to Bob Marsden. Wanted to run around, but Steve Malloy says, come here, Bob. I've got your card numbered. Makes the tackle. So it's Mark Lees. Mark Lees getting that ball out wide to Burkitt, to Gary Tyler, and that ball going a bit forward. Referee says play on. Salford still in possession. And Danny Devey says come here, rolls him over in the tackle. That's good play that by Danny Devey, stopping man and ball.
Getting grassed, it's last tackle.
So it's Salford still on that side, but that's good defence by Mark Nixon. But not before Salford are playing basketball with this ball here. Gary Tyre it is. Surely that's the last, and he's lost the ball in the tackle. Referee says play on. But surely referee's not going to count that as a tackle because there were no advantages for Rovers. Oh, and Carl Gibson there has to fling himself at that ball just like a soccer keeper. And once again, he's riddling his way out of tackles, Carl Gibson. 4 minutes left for play in this match. Salford 10, Featherstone Rovers 24. So it's Ikram Butts. And there's nobody denying that Featherstone Rovers will win that draw tomorrow evening for the quarter-finals of this Silk Cut Challenge Cup. And there's not one man, woman, or child or dog come to say that. I've seen a dog in the ground today can say that they don't deserve that after this brilliant second half performance here at the Willows. Now it's Leo Casey, he's on the charge over the halfway line. A quick play of the ball, Sutherwood with the ball, Sutherwood now there to Neil Roebuck. Neil Roebuck there gets that ball inside there, it's all on. Darren Hughes there, gives the ball there to Mark Nixon. Mark Nixon there, flying up that wing. So Neil Roebuck there, well, I thought Neil Roebuck had got that ball then, but it's a Salford player underneath Neil Roebuck. He put his body on the line and Salford there, oh, and that's brilliant play by Rovers. Driving Salford back with the ball. 3 minutes left for play. And one just has to wonder when the supporters look at this performance by Rovers, how Salford beat Featherstone at Featherstone Rovers in the league. But still, it's an absolutely brilliant performance this by David Ward's men here at the Willows. Thoroughly deserved their win. Salford 10, Featherstone Rovers 24. And Bob Marsden there looking for the halfway line. He's never thrown the towel in at Bob Marsden. He's Salford's player of the match for my money. So it's Salford there, beautiful pass there to Sam Paniper. Sam Paniper there, ball back inside, Sam Paniper still going, gets that ball, it's all on. So Featherstone Rovers, referee says play on, Carl Gibson it is, he's on the run, Carl Gibson's got men outside him. Why did he give Frederick Banquet the ball? So it's Frederick Banquet. But Frederick Banquet there absolutely screaming for the ball. Perhaps that Carl Gibson can't understand French, and we don't know, we'll have to ask him about that after the match. So it's Ikram Butts. It's just steadying things down. 2 minutes left for play. Salford 10, Featherstone Rovers 24. Are we in for an absolutely fantastic win here? So it's Leo Casey trying to drive through tackles. So it's Sutherwood to Mark Aston. Mark Aston there to Brendan Toulter. Brendan Toulter, when he gets that ball, the crowd goes buzzing. He gets that ball up here to Darren Hughes. Darren Hughes back inside, and it's back. It's Ben Rogers. Brent Rogers, and every time Brendan Toulter's touched this ball in the second half, something's magical's happened. And magical it did. He was just like Paul Daniels here with the ball. He was juggling with it, got that ball out wide and turned it ball back inside, and Mark Nixon says, I'll take them all day. Not Mark Nixon, Brett Rogers it says. I'll take them passes all day. And Brett Rogers goes in for Rovers. Is it their fourth try of the afternoon? Brendan Toulter 1, Danny Debe 1-2, Mark Aston 1-3. It's the Rovers' fourth try of the afternoon. Brett Rogers. So Mark Aston it is. And Mark Aston, and that's why he's got the Silk Cut Challenge Cup Man of the Match award. Puts the conversion over. Salford 10, Featherstone Rovers 30. He's just said to me, how are we going to have a good night? Well, I can't see why not. I can't see me going home to bed early tonight after this performance in the second half. It's been absolutely brilliant. Scintillating play. Anybody watching this match later on, I hope you enjoy it as much as we're enjoying it here at the Willows. And Featherstone Rovers get that kick off. The 40 minutes is up. It's Featherstone Rovers firmly in the driving seat. Salford 10, Featherstone Rovers 30, and Danny Deve comes again. And just a little bit of a skirmish over that far side. I'll just go through the try scorers for you. For Salford, Mark Lee's 2 goals and a Gary Tyre conversion. Salford 10 in reply. It's like an who's who here looking at my programme. I just can't see. Danny Devey a try. Brett Rogers that final try. Brendan Toter a try. And Mark Aston a try. With Mark Aston also kicking 6 goals. And also drop kicking 2 goals. And there goes the full-time out. I've already given you the scorers. I won't give you the scorers again, or shall I? Yes, I will. Mark Lee's 2 tries for Salford. Gary Tyler conversion. Salford 10. In reply, Featherstone Rovers 30. Danny Devey a try. Brendan Toter a try. Brett Rogers a try. Mark Aston a try. Mark Aston 6 goals. 2 drop goals by Mark Aston. Deservedly the Silk Cup Challenge Cup Man of the Match awards winner, but Mark Aston, I've said previously, will say give it to the rest of the 14 players who'll play with me, because everyone in this, especially in this second half, David Ward can be a very, very proud man indeed after today's game. And look at them supporters there, them magical supporters behind the post there. They've cheered this Rovers team on. They've made their way up to the over the Pennines, and the Rovers players are coming across. Brendan Toter's leading the players across, and just look at the supporters in this corner. An absolutely exhilarating game here at Salford, the Willows, and just look at them Rovers supporters. They've took this game by the scruff of the neck, the half-time score being Salford 10, Featherstone Rovers 10. But what a 40-minute second half performance by the boys in blue and white. And just looking at the latest score there, Batley 4, Wigan 52, but who cares? Featherstone Rovers in that back for tomorrow night's draw. OKR 10, Whitehaven 12, the latest score, but it's Featherstone Rovers in the lead. Salford 10, Featherstone Rovers 30, and what more can you have than that? Let's have a good night.